Hi everyone, welcome. Oh, hi George.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Amy, how
Good
you doing?
morning. How are you doing? Hope you're good.
Great, great. How's the weekend going?
I'm good as well. My weekend is going on fine. Well, hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whatever part of the world that you are joining this live today. It's
Yeah,
another Saturday to learn a thing or two about DevRel, and I hope your Saturday is going on well. My Saturday is going on well, and George's Saturday is going on well as well.
very
But
well.
yeah, it's another Saturday for us to talk about DevRel, and today we'll be joined by an amazing speaker, a man that wears different hats. And of course, this webinar is being powered by DS Mentorship, a program that is designed to set participants on their path to their role. Um, I don't know if our speaker is here with us, but I'm going to introduce him before he comes on to join us. Okay, yeah. So drum rolls. Judge drum rolls. Okay, so our speaker for today's webinar is Idris Olubisi, a man that wears different hats, to be honest. But for me, he is a software developer and a developer advocate as Alexa. And I hope he's here with us. Oh, hi, Olubisi. Hello, Idris. How are you doing? Hope your Saturday is going on well.
Yes, going on
Yeah,
fine. And you?
yeah. I'm
Hi,
good. My
George.
Saturday is going on well
Hi.
as well. Thank you so much for coming in and being here today. We appreciate it. And I'm going to just leave the floor for you to give us a quick introduction about yourself. Let's know a little bit more about you. Take it away.
Oh my God, I've been muted all this while. Oh my God, so sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so let me just start all over again. My name is Idris Olubisi. I am a software engineer and a technical writer. I currently work at Interops Lab as a developer advocate working on Axela. I am also the founder of Web3 Africa, a community focused on connecting the dots within the space, helping developers succeed, onboarding new developers, supporting them, and also educating them with the right resources they need to excel in Web3. I am also the guild mage, which is you can call that like a lead guild lead for Polygon Guild Lagos. I am really excited to be here. Thank you once again, DS Mentorship, for the invite, and also thank you all for having me.
All right. You see, thank you so much, Idris, for your introduction. I was right when I said that you're a man that wears many hats because do
Yeah.
so many things. Thank you so much for joining us and being here with us today. Okay, everyone. So today we are going to be talking about where does DevRel fit on the organization chart, but I'm going to leave George to talk more about that.
You are muted,
George, you're
George.
muted.
Oh,
All right.
yes, sorry.
I made
Yeah.
the same mistake, so it's fine.
Yes, thank you, Ingrid. Thank you for making up time to talk about this. DevRel has been a very, very upcoming field and it has really grown. Thanks to guys like you that really doing amazing stuff out there. Yeah, but then the topic, where does it fit in an organization chart? Because most organizations have so many developers tools, so many technologies that they want to, create more awareness on and like education on. But then, like most people don't know how to go about like creating that office or that space for it in their company, and so that's where this topic comes into the picture. But then, for guys like you that have been working with organizations trying to educate developers on products, I'm sure you can justice to a lot of this, you know. But then, my first question is that um, for you to like give us a broad overview of the whole thing. And I'm asking that, why has DevRel become a crucial function, like a crucial role, in tech companies today? Based on your experience and yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So DevRel, like this is quite a lot to talk about, to be honest. So, but the truth is that we also need to even talk about what exactly DevRel is, right? For those hearing DevRel for the first time, uh, where he does fit in an organization, what are some of the things that you need to understand about DevRel, the basics, and also what the DevRel entails, and um, then we will not talk about like where it fits in an organization. So different organizations have different ways or like different strategy of talking about or thinking through what is called DevRel, and they do it differently, right? I've worked in an organization where we report to a different entity within the company, and I've also worked with an organization that has a DevRel as a standalone entity. So in this presentation, I just want to quickly like walk everyone through what DevRel means and also how you can get involved or like how you can think through DevRel and give you idea about where it should fit in an organization chart, right? So let me just proceed with the presentation. So I already did intro before. My name is Idris BBC. I am a developer advocate, Interrupts Lab, working on Axela, and also you can find me on Twitter. It's usually Olanesoft everywhere. Until recently, I got suspended, and then now I'm using underscore Olanesoft on Twitter, and every other place is Olanesoft. And yeah, so in this talk, we are going to talk about like DevRel, just to set the right expectation for those joining us or for those hearing the word DevRel for the first time. And also, we are also going to, I'm also going to share a typical example of a DevRel team. What does it entail? What does it mean to be a developer advocate? How can you become one? And also where exactly does a DevRel fit in an organization, which of course is the main topic for the day. But it's always cool to talk about all of these things before we get there, so you understand what it is and also where it should fit in an organization. So I don't know, like this is a general question. If you have any idea of what DevRel means. So, but then this is why I'm also here to tell you what exactly DevRel is and what are the things you should know about DevRel. So DevRel means developer relation. So DevRel is just for short saying developer relations. And what exactly is developer relations? Developer relations is not equal to developer advocate. I've seen a lot of people mix this up, right? Because this is because of the terms used by different companies, right? Some people would refer themselves, some publicly they'll say they are, a DevRel, right? Which it's clear that developer relation is not the same thing as developer advocate, right? Don't worry if you are confused, but I'm going to explain and go in details in the next couple of slides. Like I mentioned, developer relation is not a role. It refers to as a group of people within a company that is focused on developer engagement, building community, helping developers succeed, building relationship between uh, developers, between the company's product and also the public facing developers, right? So if you are already thinking through DevRel as one person, so I think it's better, it's cool for you to understand that this isn't a role. This is a group of people within a particular company. And then this is a typical example of a developer relations team. This is where you could find a developer relation manager, a developer advocate, a developer evangelist, and also a developer support engineer, developer community managers, developer marketing manager, and also technical writer. Like the list is really long, but then this is a typical example of a developer relations team, right? So of course, the first one, as the name implies, they list the overall, DevRel team strategy, the set goals and metrics for developer engagement. This is developer relations manager. That's their duty. That's what they do on the daily to help manage team, while developer advocates act as an expert liaising between the company and the external developers. They also do things like writing tutorials, speaking at meetups or conference, writing content, both written and video content, depending on the type of content they want to dish out. So this is a typical behavior or an example of who developer advocates are, like what exactly they do on a day-to-day. And also for developer evangelists, right, they help spread awareness about the company's product, organize hackathon, and also organize hackathon and events to spur adoptions, right? So this is another role that you might find in any company, which is under developer relations team. And also the duty of developer evangelist, this is a specific role, but most often you might see developer advocate also doing the same thing. That's why you won't like see developer evangelist like really popular compared to like a developer advocate. We also have developer support managers. These are people that provide technical support. Some of them, they don't call them developer, they just call them support engineers, right? And all they do is to provide technical support assistance for developers, maybe integrating their APIs, SDKs, and also have like track issues. They help like coordinate to make sure that every technical questions within the community gets, answered. And we have community managers. They basically, this role is clearly different from a developer advocate role, right? They help manage developer forums and discussion board. They monitor social channels and also the interaction with developers. They have like so many activities they um, get involved with to build the community, like continue building the community as the community grow, and also fostering that relationship between the community members, and not just between the community members, but between the community members and the product, or like the individuals working within the companies, right? And then talking about developer marketing managers, they help, of course, as the name implies, marketing. They help promote products, programs, resources for developer audience through campaigns and programs. So their role on a day-to-day is to make sure that they are present in all of these, popular developer gatherings to help promote products. In fact, sometimes might not even be a developer gathering, might just be like a very big conference where we have both developers, technical and non-technical individuals, and then make sure that they are present to talk about, the company's products and let people get excited about it. And then finally, for technical writers, we all know technical writers write tutorials, samples, articles to educate developers on using a product and an API and APIs rather. So this is a typical example. So in a case where you could find like a developer relations manager, a developer advocate, and a technical writer. And sometimes you'll find like developer advocate, developer relations manager, technical writer, and a support engineer. Sometimes you can find like a marketing manager, a community manager, technical writer, developer advocate, and developer relations manager in a DevRel team, right? In most cases where you could find a developer marketing manager are cases where DevRel are standalone entity within that particular organization. So they need to have somebody that is focused on, marketing and not just, creating content like every other person, like dev advocate or technical writer or like support engineers trying to answer issues and all of that. These people are focused on, pushing things out there at conferences where we have um, products, talking people talking about their product. We have builders, we have technical and non-technical, we have founders, we have startup founders, we have, entrepreneurs, professionals, and all of that. So this is a typical example of a developer relations team that you could find anywhere, right? So moving on, I want to believe everyone now understand what DevRel means now. This is the expectation, right? We now understand what DevRel means, a typical example of what DevRel looks like, and things you should, when you're thinking through what DevRel is, things you should know, and what it actually entails. So now I'm going to pick developer advocates from that long list that I just mentioned. This is because developer relations manager, we all know that it's a lead role, somebody leading or managing a developer relations team. So I'm picking developer advocate because this is most likely things that you see like everywhere, like people representing themselves, including myself as a developer advocate. So in case you want to understand like what exactly developer advocate is, that is why I'm going to talk about developer advocates in the next lesson. So what does it mean to be a developer advocate? This might not be the first time hearing about this, but just to reiterate that few things you need to have at the back of your mind, which I'll be talking about. Um, so first here is you need to be there. Like awareness is a critical part of becoming a developer advocate. So when I mean awareness, it doesn't have to be um, just be aware of what is going on within the tech space that you are currently into. Maybe it's Web 2, Web 5, Web 3, doesn't matter. What matters here is that you're aware about some of the new toolings, you're aware about like things going on within your tech space or like your own field. Maybe you're a backend engineer, you're a front-end engineer, a DevOps person, you're a technical person, right? Um, you need to be aware about what is going on. Another one is technical content creation. You need to be comfortable creating technical content, like talking about things, helping developers succeed, like giving them guides that would help them to build whatsoever they are building. Or probably they encounter an error, you should be able to like that. Your guide should be able to like help them, grow, help them fix those errors, and help them one way or the other to understand that technical concept better. Additionally, is community engagement. You need to, as a developer advocate, you need to have this community engagement spirit. So you might be wondering, like, what type of community engagement? Like, where do I find like community to join? The cool thing is that we have a lot of community. Like, you don't need to look for like international communities before you start contributing. All you need to get started is as simple as finding a local community and be an active contributor within that community. That's the best way to start, right? And then gradually, the more you contribute, the more you understand the community engagement that is required. And then the more you have insight and understanding of how to manage community before you now start managing community outside your locals, right? And then finally, developer support is also there. I mentioned that when I was talking about technical content creation, creating guide that can help your like help other developers succeed, like help them fix that problem. But another thing about developer support that is different is that you need to understand how to support developers. This is beyond you just creating content, but also maybe responding to their questions, giving them options when they are stuck, when they need help, like giving them like two, three different options on what to do. So the list is long, right? I just highlighted these 4 points about what it means for you to become a developer advocate. Like there are a lot of things that you need to do. And in fact, why I said a lot of things, just to be clear, I'm setting the right expectation, is that You can join a company that does not have, maybe a community manager that doesn't have a technical writer, and you be the one, maybe you're the holy hire, first hire or the second hire as a developer advocate. So you be the one to go through all of these things yourself. You create content, you do developer support, you do community engagement, you speak at conferences, you organize hackathon, like you wear many hats, right? So it's always good to have all of these things, to understand them and then know how to do them at least because you don't know the next company you are going to join. So that will already give you like insight on some of the things you need to do. So when you end up doing it, it's going to be a lot of work, but at the same time, it's not going to be completely new for you to do. So now that you know what it means to become a developer advocate, who is a developer advocate? To keep things simple, developer advocate is a technical expert who builds successful relationship between company and its developer community. See emphasis on successful relationship, company and its developer community. This is what you would do if you get hired by any company to be their developer advocate. But outside the company, responsibility, you are also seen as industry leaders. You are also seen as key opinion leaders that people trust you because of this help that you render within the community to help people naturally, maybe helping them naturally without shooting any project, maybe telling them to build on your stuff, but you're just helping maybe based on technology that you are currently proficient in, things that you are currently proficient doing, right? So this is exactly what a who is a developer advocate. So I also just want to share this tweet quickly, where one of my favorites and I would say my mentor, Angie Jones. I know some of us might know her. She wrote the content and then she mentioned that developer advocates are engineers and not marketers. In fact, they are trusted engineers with influence. So a good developer has to take this very seriously and will not betray its community's trust. I just mentioned now that aside, talking about companies' product, a developer advocate is also found like sharing things like helping developers, like if you find a new tool, even though somebody else might have talked about it, but you also talking about it, letting people know that this thing is helpful. One way it can help them streamline their process for development, can help them get better as an engineer or as a developer. Sharing tools, sharing resources, sharing guides, sharing. In fact, it might not even be guides that you wrote yourself. It might be things that you find online and then you share. So you can leverage any social media platform like maybe Twitter if you're active there, LinkedIn. There are a lot of social media platforms that you can leverage to build, like to be a part of that developer community and then continue to contribute to the ecosystem. So now the question of the day is, with all of this, like we now understand what DevRel is. We know who is the developer advocate. What does it mean to become a developer advocate? But that developer relations, where exactly does it fit in an organization? So first, sorry, yeah. So first is because I said developer advocate are engineers. Does that mean um, a DevRel fits into an engineering, department? So like this often seems like most natural place for developer relations team. After all, like we mentioned, that developer advocate are engineers and they are not marketers. So most DevRel activities involves coding, targeting audience within the engineering space. But is this even the right place to put them? So the direct answer is no, because engineering teams like sense of success is to ship things that often scale, right? With the mentality with the mentality that carries over into like the DevRel scene. But if you take a look at it, so the leading goals of team to be centered around shipping, like maybe code samples, blog, all of these things, does not evolve only around what's produced or shipped by the engineering team. because DevRel itself, it needs like a loop, a way of connecting with developers outside the company, bringing back information internally, and the team can't do that if the conversation are always one way with little or no look back. So what I mean here is engineering just ship. They also think about shipping things that scale. They ship stuff based on what the company is building, business model, whatsoever. That's like a one way, right? They just keep shipping, right? And then developer relations team are not just one way. They are like a loop. They create a funnel in such a way that as engineering team ships, they tell the world about it, take feedback, take it internally back to the engineering team or the product team, and then they make updates, they fix it, and then it go back to the public again. So you can see why the developer cannot fall directly into engineering because of this funnel process that doesn't exist if you are maybe if it is categorized under engineering team, right? But then is it inside sales or marketing of sales, right? In some organization, right, particularly the ones that sells products to developers, there's a natural tendency to put like DevRel under marketing or under sales, since DevRel team relates to like developers, and the target demographic for buying products and services is developers. So the DevRel team, of course, they are also developers, right, in some sense, right, because they have like technical expertise. So some team just assume that, oh yeah, since we have this product we're selling for developers and then we have the DevRel team, they need to report to sales. But let's be honest, like a lot of that is a behavior that is learned from predecessors, like which may not be so fair because DevRel team have like a major role to play within the developer community without putting it off like they are making sales. So if marketers want to talk about it, it's quite different from a developer advocate or like people, every other field in the DevRel space. Because one thing to think about it is that developers believe you as a developer advocate. So they see you as a developer, not somebody really representing a company, but they just see you as a developer. So they trust you to tell them what to do without telling them to subscribe to something or like to make payment on something. Like making payment is when they need to like do more. Maybe they are using existing free tool and then they want to do more stuff. So they have the payment option. So when the DevRel team goes out to like connect with the community, they need to build that relationship based on the basis of mutual trust. That's as a DevRel, I'm a developer too, and I know where you are coming from, and I'm here to help you to get better at what you do. That's typically the way you could see it, right? But then theoretically, a salesperson should also be coming from the same perspective in varieties of domain. But it's hard because they need to commercialize things, right? That's why they exist in the first place, right? They need to talk about things, like sell things to people, let them understand what, like, because of course they have their own KPIs and things they're focusing on. So like they need to reach out to people, like make sales, get good connections and do all of these things, right? So which makes it not ideal to fall under sales. So now, if it doesn't fall under sales, doesn't fall on sales and marketing, does not fall under maybe the first one I talked about, which is engineering. You see inside like human resources. Believe it or not, like a group of people in an organization, and it's funny enough that you see that some of these things are categorized wrongly because of the way organization thinks about it, right? Frequently, most powerful recruiting team in a company is the DevRel team, right? So they are out about the community, speaking the same language as developers. So they just feel that connection, and some companies would decide to put them under like HR, right? It's clearly not what's supposed to be. Um, while it's important to know that developers help build relationship, but it's quite different from, like, let me say, completely different from just saying human resource, because they do way more than that, and then they have a specific, you know, entity or like a group they target, not just everybody, but developer ecosystem. So with all of this being said, like, where exactly do we think they fall into? So DevRel basically operates at the intersection of several development departments, right? Which range from product, engineering, marketing, customer support, and sometimes sales. So don't get it wrong, right? Because I mentioned like they do not fall under engineering or fall under marketing or fall under HR or fall under sales, but it does mean that they wear many hats to operate at the intersection of several departments. Because this doesn't mean it directly reports to those departments, but then they make sure to help coordinate things so that when we have a request or when we have an ongoing discussion within the developer community that involves to get feedback from the product team or like the engineering team, they aggregate those feedback, and if there's anyone that needs to go through like marketing, socials, and all of that, they also help create that funnel. Like they have like a point of contact to help make sure that it goes through that stage, and then goes through like customer support if they are the dedicated team. If not, whosoever is in charge will be developer advocate, customer support person will be the one to aggregate those feedback and then take it back to the community, get another feedback, reiterate, and then bring it back internally to the engineering team. So, like, this is how the DevRel team operates. To double check or like to reiterate again on what I just mentioned, I picked like a few tweets from like a top guys within the ecosystem. I know some of you might be familiar with them. TJ's where he was talking about, DevRel not being DevCell, which is clearly what I've been explaining since. Is that it's DevRel, not not DevCell. And then he mentioned that for us developer, the best tools and resources are those that empower us to create great software. That is why at the heart of successful developer relation is education, not just marketing or pitching, right? Effective developer relation team prioritize education over marketing or pitching, which is very important that for every developer advocate or a developer relations team, they need to understand and prioritize education first above any other thing you could think of as a developer advocate or a developer relations team. Sorry, I keep using the word developer advocate or developer relation. Remember, I mentioned that developer relations is not a role, it's a group of people. So whenever I talk about developer relation team, I'm talking about everybody within that space, right? And when I mention developer advocate, I'm just referencing just one person under the developer team. And also Eddie, who is also an open source star, a GitHub open source star, and also, he has done quite a lot of things. He has been breathing DevRel for a very long time. Also, at some point, mentioned DevRel is not core sales, which also confirms all of this discussion that we'll be talking about to clarify that DevRel is not sales. Right, I know, right? This is quite confusing, right? Because I said they work at intersection of these things. So, but then the background check is that whenever you think about DevRel, think about education, think about developer ecosystem, think about helping developers succeed other than pitching or making sales or marketing things to developers. A typical example, let me give you one example here, is that if imagine you imagine some of the strategies used by existing companies that we know, for example, Google, where they tell you when they are maybe they attend a conference or like the conference they sponsor, and then they are giving out free credits to host your thing, your platform on the cloud. You can see the way it's being talked about is that sign up, get free credits to build your application or like to host the application on our platform. It's quite different from saying take $50 to sign up. I'm sorry, or when you sign up, get this $50 and then start building on our platform. The tone is quite different because the first one that says sign up on our platform, get free credits, worth like $50 that will allow you to, host your platform for free. And the other one that says, we're really excited to have you sign up so that you can get $50 uh upfront, like take this $50, sign up. We want you to sign up so that you can win this $50. Right. The tone is quite different. The first one is the most accurate for, the developer ecosystem to understand and resonate with. So let it be clear that you're not just pitching to use for develop or like for them as a developer to use your product, but you are giving them a good advantage because you know that they want to host their platform and they are looking for a way to do that free and also like if not free, like very cheap. So providing that credit to help them think in the direction of, oh, you are helping me to build this, to deploy my project on your platform and not just, pitching like saying, take this money. We want you to deploy application on, we want you to deploy your application on our platform. So it's quite different. And then those are ways that you could think about the way communications happen within DevRel and the external developer ecosystem. So to sum it up, like developer relations deserve to be its own top level organization within the company, like any company particularly. So this is because they are a group of people, right? They can make all of these decisions themselves. They can tell what the developer ecosystem needs. They can aggregate feedbacks. They can collate different things to make sure that we have um, what is required for every developer to succeed building or leveraging that product. And also talk about things that are very important, that are like key things to get to when the engineers are thinking about building products and also shipping things that matters to developers. But it's another thing for you to keep building, it's another thing for you to ship or build things that the developer ecosystem are asking about. So developer relations deserve to be its own top level organization within a company. So as a bonus point, I just quickly want to add this before I move on about landing roles in DevRel as a developer advocate. I found this very, 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 very useful. That I could really resonate right with it. This indicates Web3, but this is typically something that you can apply to any role, that Web2, Web3, or Web5. Finding a protocol, finding a product, might be a product that you have been using in the past, might be open source or not. The product that you have interest in, find them, look if they are in need of a DevRel, learn their tech, and then create good example code base with high quality learning material around it. Maybe it's a technical written content, or you facilitate workshop leveraging that tool, or you write, tutorial, or you do a video tutorials basically that you can use to explain that particular concept to anyone. And of course, you can apply for grants regardless. So you get paid for your work that you're doing. And then in Web2, in some cases, you might not find a grant, but that could give you a leverage to look at what they are doing, where they need help, and then how you can help. And of course, share whatsoever you have created and then apply to the company, right? Creating these things, doing these things will show a green light, send a very good signal to the company if you eventually apply, because they've seen some of the quality content. And then if they are really looking to hire a DevRel, in fact, they might not even think about hiring a DevRel until you start shipping all of those things. And then they will now realize that, oh, they think they need somebody. And then that's how you can, get hired doing that. And then that should be like the best thing to happen to you as a developer advocate looking for a role in Web3. So what next? This is another one. This is a very good point here. Like if you are in DevRel and you want to be very, very effective, spend a good amount of time learning, sharing, building, and helping out with software, tools, projects, etc. you are interested in. Emphasis on you are interested. It doesn't have to be you need to be everywhere, you need to be cloud, you need to be front end, you need to be back end. No. Anything you are interested in. So because if you only focus on pushing your own product, it's hard to build trust. Remember during the presentation when I was talking about trust, it's very, very hard to build trust if you are not helping people naturally, or you're just wake up one day and then you start shilling your company's product, and you'll be wondering why people are not engaging with some of the content you create, or you have been writing with the community, because it might be that they don't trust you because they feel you get paid to do all of these things, or probably they don't even need those things that you are talking about at the point. They needed something else that you can teach them about, and they use that to get their attention, to let them know that, hey, you're not shilling any project or product, you are only just talking about you know building quality stuff, building relationship within the ecosystem. And then that should be a lot of quite excitement for developers, and also to open up the funnel to create what developers actually want. So, guys, I'm rooting for everyone. I hope this session have been helpful. One way to understand where DevRel, what is DevRel, how to become a developer advocate, where DevRel fits in an organization, how to think about DevRel, and some of the strategies that you could leverage to land a role as a developer advocate in DevRel, like in the ecosystem, Web 2, Web 3, or Web 5. And then thank you very much for having me, guys. So this is a QR code. I encourage everyone to scan. It takes less than 1 minute to respond, like to fill in the survey. Less than 1 minute, trust me. Let me know what you think about this session. How has this session been able to help you understand where DevRel fits in an organization? And also, if you find this session useful, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. Thank you very much. Bye. Yeah, over to you. I don't know if you can see any second. All right. You're on mute.
Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much, Idris. Oh my God, I have learned so much. Like, I have learned for myself like some really, really important information, and I've like answered few of the questions that I have as regards the role itself. And I'm grateful that you actually like went in depth like with your information and the knowledge that you've shared. And I believe that if you're joining us now and you have never heard about DevRel before, or you have heard about it but you're not sure about what it entails, this is more than a basic knowledge for you. Like I believe that you have grasped so much from this section with Idris. Thank you so much, Idris, for sharing with us your wisdom.
Yeah, thank you all for
I'm
thank you all
so
for
grateful.
having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The part, I think, I believe people would have questions, but before we get to the questions, I have things that I have to share first with you. I
Okay.
have my own questions that I need to share. But if you are with us and you have questions, please leave it in the drop it in the chat box, and then hope I will definitely see and we'll get reading. Hi, church. Okay.
Yeah,
So okay, yeah, George definitely will also be on the lookout for questions. that will be coming
Yeah.
in from people that are joining us as well that will read out for Idris to help us answer.
Yeah.
But at the meantime, right, Idris, so I was listening to a podcast. I think I was sharing with George earlier that these people we are talking about, there is no need to be hiring DevRel. Reason for them because it was more like someone saying that you don't need a DevRel if you are a startup company because what are they going to do that you are not going to do, right? And they don't believe that they are going to bear the like they're going to wear the hard as the way that the founders will do it. You know, when you say if you are a developer you have to be technical, right? So another input was that he has if even if he decides to hire a developer he has to be a software engineer because he needs the person to be technical. And it left me thinking, so if you're not, so that means if you're going into devil space, you just don't want to be like ordinary devil. You have to learn technical part as well. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, that's a very good question. Because there are different ways to think about it, right? But then
Mm,
primarily you need to understand what exactly does the startup, like what do they do, right?
yeah.
So we have developer first company and also
Mm,
developer plus company, right? So developer first company means that they are directly interacting, like they have products for developers, and
yeah.
then their audience, their primary target are developers. While developer plus is they can do without developers, right? Developer are just like developer ecosystem are just a plus to them. So that is the first thing that you need to understand about that startup first to know where
Mm.
they fall into for you to understand if DevRel will be helpful for them or not. So if it's developer plus, then they are correct. Like maybe when you're starting out, the core focus is not for you to hire a DevRel and then start looking out for developers because you're a developer plus company, which means that you have like product or tools that startups can use that already has like the front end and have all of these things. Then you can just get the support engineers to just support based on question. In fact, maybe not support engineers, maybe just customer support people that can file tickets and all of those things, right? But when you have a developer first, when you fall under the category of a developer first company, then there's no way you run away from DevRel. Because even if you try to market things and maybe leveraging Twitter, LinkedIn, all of these social media platform to run ads, the more you spend money, marketing is not cheap, right? The more you spend money, the more you keep spending money, right? So it's ideal to know that this audience are not even those people that you market to directly, and then they see ads and then they click it. They are most likely going to scroll by every time they see your ad. And then when they mark your ad, in fact, they could even get annoyed and then just turn off your ad because they're seeing it every time and then it's not relevant to them. But when you have a devil, they are present within the community, they help build that relationship, and then they help developers. So naturally, developers will now start thinking that this guy is really helpful. Thank you for helping me. And then they'll look at your profile and wonder where you are working. And then from there, they'll be like, oh, he's working here. Automatically, they are being registered that anything like that company you're working for is worthy of taking a look at what they are doing. And then they can also learn to leverage that thing. So those things, leveraging, building something with their APIs comes naturally, right? You don't need to force anything, you don't need to market anything. So that way it's easier for you to be a part of that ecosystem. So if you are a developer first and you are trying to run away from that, maybe you might want to rethink the process of how you can get to your developer
Mhm.
audience faster because we have like target audience differently. So it's important to know what exactly you want to do. I hope that answers your
Yeah.
question anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
So
welcome.
I also wanted
to ask a question. So, I saw in your slide there, you said it's DevRel, not DevCell. That's very
Yeah.
catchy. 'Cause it understates the core job of you relating
Hmm.
with developers, sharing ideas, solving their problems, because that's what you're there for. But then I'm also curious, since a DevRel is meant to like have several other skills like marketing, sales, engineering. So how do they like collaborate with other departments? Because so that there won't be an overlapping uh, role that you will be doing their job instead of allowing them to do their job. Like, how do you make that balance in an organization? Yeah,
Yes. So I think I need to correct that a little bit because DevRel don't do marketing, right? They don't do sales. So I mentioned that they work at the intersection of different things: products, engineering, you know, marketing, sometimes marketing, sales. So why I added marketing and sales is not because they need to have marketing before you can become a DevRel, be a part of the
yeah,
DevRel. But why I mention marketing is take this example. I am a developer. I've been creating content, and then I created content on maybe how to use this tool with a React application, right? And then I write that content and then share with the community. And then the community encounter like an error, or they didn't encounter an error per se, like they want additional functionality. And then we were all talking about the additional functionality. We couldn't find any tool to solve that problem. And then someone that is also a contributor to that conversation that we know him as a developer advocate also steps in, and then they were like, oh, this is the existing problem. Our tool can actually solve this problem for you.
mhm,
They were part of the conversation. They didn't come out to say, this is what our tool can do. We already recognize the problem. And then they proposed a solution to tell you that, hey, if you don't mind checking out this thing, like this should make a lot of sense. Maybe if you try it out, it could solve your problem. And then they just move on. They didn't shield the project. They just introduce it to solve our problem during that conversation. And at the end of the day, what they have done indirectly is some sort of marketing per se, or like doing some sort of sales, because if their product involves maybe payment, for maybe they have the free tier and the payment tier, so automatically they've already created the funnel in such a way that those developer develop them discussing those, that particular issue, when they try the product and they use it, they've been able to market the product in a way that it doesn't seem like by marketing the product, but they've been able to do that easily within the developer community and within those people that are having that conversations. So working at the intersection like that means that your presence within the community, you're talking about the product without appearing to the world that you're talking about the product. And then that makes like it different from you just waking up one day, entering conversation and then pitching your product, or like all your tweets, all your LinkedIn posts is all about your product. You're only talking about your product, which is not bad. But then for you to build a relationship within the community, you need to solve problem,
yeah,
like educate developers, not just talking about your product. So that is the way you
yeah,
should think about it, and that's the way you should think about working at the intersection of product engineering, community support, marketing, and sales. Not you being a marketer, or working directly with sales team, because sales team, they have their KPIs, they have things they do on their own. So you don't have to learn their stuff or like take their job. No, it's not even your role at all.
oh, awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. Just to catch up on time, I just take one more question. In tech, there've been a lot of layoffs these days. In almost every most field in tech, maybe developers have been at the brunt of it and all. But then someone is asking that, okay, so that they also notice that there have been high layoffs in DevRel these days too. What can you say about it? What should we be worried about? And then a follow-up question to that is that how does a DevRel or how can a devil avoid being laid off? What do they have to be doing right for them to still be sustained? Even when there are several layoffs in this era. Yeah,
Yeah, so first I have two things to clear. First thing is not DevRel they are laying off, like layoff in general within the
yeah,
ecosystem. Tech Web 2, Web 3 is general. Then number two, which I need to clarify, is that um like what like how do DevRel avoid being laid off? Like you can't control, it's not your company, right? It's not anybody's company. So you can't control that. So you can't avoid it. Those that got laid off is not because they are not performing well or they don't know their activity, but the company can no longer pay them and nobody is going to allow them work on credit without paying them.
yeah.
So let me just clarify that. But then to answer the question about, the first question about, layoff, I think apart from the fact that layoff is happening generally, so the idea still falls back to like when company want to like lay off, they check like what are some of the roles they can let go, and then somebody will step in and do those roles pending the time they would be able to like raise, right? So I've seen a case where they lay off all the team, they keep the developer relations manager, so the person will be doing double work. And then I've seen a case where they lay off even the complete developer relations team, and that is because like the company just want to have a lean operation just to manage the budget they have pending the time they will be able to raise, and then they'll be able to hire again, right? So it's looking at it from the angle of keeping things lean based on the resources and the runway the company has for maybe the next 6 months or the next 1 year. Maybe they
Mhm.
haven't been able to raise, and then they can't, of course, you can't work for free, and then they have to let go. And sometimes it's also based on um, maybe the location you are working from, the salary standard is like really high. So in their head, they are trying to say, okay, you have been contributing significantly, but sorry, excuse me, you have been contributing significantly, but the fact remains that we don't have that budget to continue paying you. So maybe they have somebody for another region that they pay less, not because the person doesn't know what to do, but because they pay per location. So they can let go of the one with the higher salary, which is not really ideal to me in my own case. But this we are talking about business, like putting the business first. There are
Mhm.
some decisions that will be taken because they need to prioritize business over anything. Then once it's stable, then they can start hiring again. Then for the other one, which is to avoid layoffs, I mentioned already that it's not because those DevRels that were laid off are not good or they don't know what they are doing or they are no longer performing at their role, but it is because the company can no longer like afford, to pay them. So they need like funds, they need a runway before they'll be able to pay them. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that answers the question. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
maybe.
It's
Yeah.
been very, very insightful. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and everything. By the way, yeah, we saw that your birthday is in Arias. Happy birthday in Arias again. Wish you
It's today.
very, very
My birthday is today. My birthday is today.
Oh my God! So you're gracing us on your birthday. Super
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
my birthday
So,
is
so
today.
it was your mom that
Thank you.
was. Is it yesterday or day before yesterday? Your mom's birthday.
Yeah, like we actually have like a lot of us in March, including my dad, my mom, my
Wow.
dad, my sister. So my sister was 2 days ago. My mom was like 7 days ago. My dad
Wow.
is in 5 days. So it's crazy. Like we have a
March
lot of
family.
March folks.
Match
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
really.
yeah,
Match family. Happy birthday, Idris. Super grateful
Yeah.
for
yeah.
you
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
joining us
much.
Yeah,
today,
thank you.
and I
We
truly
Thank
really
you.
appreciate
appreciate.
Hi, Deborah. Hi, Deborah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, Liam. Yeah, Liam, my guy. Thank you. Happy birthday. I said
happy
happy birthday.
birthday.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm wishing you happy birthday. Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
I mean, like it's your
Yeah,
birthday.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Yeah.
happy birthday,
So
Idris. Like
yeah,
yeah.
thank you once again for sharing your time and your knowledge with us. We hope that I don't know if the slide will be available for us. I would really, really appreciate it. Just very,
Yeah,
very,
sure.
very,
I'm definitely going to share. I'm
yeah,
definitely going to
very, very
share that.
insightful
So
session. Thank you,
Yeah.
Idris. We appreciate you. We'd love to do this again. Of course,
Yeah, I mean,
well, one of the people I look up to in tech. So we'll still talk about that anyway. So
yeah, we are all learning, so
yeah,
it makes sense. Amaraki, thank you,
Yeah,
Ami,
thank you
thank you,
so
Deborah,
much.
thank
Thank
you
you.
guys, thank you all for having me, and thank you all for the birthday wish. Send funds, send funds.
All right, thank you so much,
all
Idris,
right.
for joining us. Please, guys, who reach Idris happy birthday in the comments, and also we you have to follow Idris on his socials. I think that's underscore Olan Soft. Is that
Yeah,
Right.
so when you search Olane stuff, it just comes up. Even though
okay?
for Twitter, every other place is like Olane stuff. I'm still trying to recover my old account.
Okay.
But then for now, even though you type Olane stuff now, the only option you
Yeah,
are going to see is underscore Olane stuff. So it's still the same thing, right?
still the
So
same thing. Yeah.
hopefully I get my
So
old
just
account back, but if
yeah.
not, I'll continue using this new one. Yeah.
All right, guys, just follow Idris on all platform. As you can see, he loaded us with a lot of information. He knows what he's doing. He's very, very knowledgeable in this space. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Idris,
thank
for
you.
gracing us with your presence on your birthday. And I hope you have loads of fun today and you eat loads of cake today as well. All right, guys.
Yeah.
If you're joining us, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel at DX Mentorship. We provide you with a webinar
Mhm.
every Saturday. We make sure that you have something to learn on DevRel every
Back to back.
Saturday. Back to
Mhm.
back, just like George always say, back to back. Please do like, do subscribe, and till next Saturday. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye. Yeah.